Hey everybody, this is Complexity with another one of those spontaneous complexity casts. Just kind of felt like doing another one. I was in the middle of doing some homework and I finished it kind of early, and my partner I usually work on this with wasn't really ready. It's one of those really cool things where it's like you need a partner to do the homework, and then you like plan to do it better, and you hold each other responsible, and you do a better job. I'm on kind of one of those type of programs. I like working with other people on homework, teaching them how I do it, etc., etc. Isn't really working for me, but so right now I finished early, so I was like, well, RunToTheSun sent me this game. I might as well cast it, and no less do I open it up that I see that fucking Symbiosis is in it. One of my favorite players from COH1. I'll go over each of them a bit here. So, as you all know, I've talked about RunToTheSun before. RunToTheSun's style is always more of a defensive sort of posture, I guess, but like his real strength lies not in this defensive sort of strength, but like knowing exactly when to push. He has a very good sense of when his opponent isn't necessarily ready for him to make a big push, and he'll basically push you off the map and win the game. But like I said, his playstyle is largely defensive, and I've always been under the impression that Russians aren't that kind of faction. Their reliance is on the fast armor and, really good, in fact, late game armor, and their conscripts are basically just, meat shields. They take a lot of damage, and they pop tanks, pop engines, etc. Symbiosis, on the other hand, is also a kind of defensive style. He's far more notorious or infamous or what have you. He's famous, absolutely famous for his amazing, coolness under pressure. He, literally is like an immovable iceberg of he never gives up. He is like one of the most, oh my god, I've never seen Symbiosis give up on a game, because he always has a good sense of how long he can play a game and how he can turn it around. He's one of the best comeback players I've ever seen in the history of COH. He was always like that in COH1, and I'd love to see how he plays here in COH2. Early engagement here, we're getting some lucky crits from the conscript squads on a grenadier squad. The one grenadier squad loses a model, but they're going to stay behind green cover, take some pot shots on these conscripts. We're seeing a Gren HMG build from Symbiosis, and he picked his commander early. He's going to have a mortar half-track, Panzer Tactician, that's the Panzer Smoke, and the late game Tiger Tank, obviously. Another little early engagement, conscripts on some pioneers. Capping orders, Symbiosis went this, my god, I need to get it together. RunToTheSun went to this strategic point first. Cap the fuel, cap this victory point. Sitting idle over here. Obviously, these grenadiers are just kind of keeping tabs on these conscripts if you've been kind of paying attention to the tactical map. Let's jump on back over to RunToTheSun, see where he's at. He's going hard conscript spam. This is actually pretty good for early game versus the Austere, or the, I call them the vanilla Germans. Because there's the OKW and then there's the Germans, But really, they're both German, so you can't really use that kind of definition. We got some shadow play here, I guess. They can't really see each other. I think the advantage here lies with RunToTheSun, just because these guys don't have any cover. They do have a building to fall back on, though. Meanwhile, HMG stopping these engineers from capping any more of the map. Let's bring back the Fog of War. Oh, show resources. Obviously, this is important. Still no Doctrine pickup from RunToTheSun, but obviously Symbiosis already picked up his commander and obviously wants to go Tiger Tank. That late game comeback. And I think there's no better faction for late game comebacks than, obviously, the Wehrmacht Austere. Those engines are going to retreat from the HMG. Meanwhile, RunToTheSun has a very commanding presence here on the right side, so he's going to push off these grenadier squads on the right side. Some ninja capping here from Symbiosis. He's going to cap this little strategic point. Going to force this conscript squad to respond. But I think he's justified in doing so. It's just convenience of having a conscript nearby, and he's obviously going to retake this, no problem. Meanwhile, RunToTheSun, after pushing the engineers off with the HMG, he's going to push up with Grins, and we're seeing the support weapon Campania. Sorry, I went to the German base, but I wanted to go over here. From the Russians, this is the tier 2 that contains an HMG, a mortar, and an anti-tank gun. Let's go ahead and see what Symbi's up to. He's got 2 MG, 3 Gren open. 2 Grens kept, these 2 Grens, just for review, kept to this side. They stuck together to push off capping conscript squads. But they were ultimately pushed off by pushing, sort of inching forward conscript squads. If we played it in fast motion, it would look kind of interesting because the Grens started here and then they were like slowly pushed back until the conscripts basically controlled this building and controlled these Grens and pushed them off and were able to take the field. But we have some other capping going on here on the right side. HMG squad is going to respond to the flavor squad, which is obviously going to do more damage than this conscript squad because they don't have Molotovs as far as we know. We haven't at least seen any Molotovs. Working through the HMG fire, these engineers are going to push through and take a model off the Grenadier squad. Meanwhile, once again, pushing out the other conscript squad with the HMG and double Gren. This HMG is set up in the wrong direction, so it's going to be in a bit of trouble against this flanking conscript squad. These Grens can't respond in time. The HMG is just going to retreat, playing it safe. And the second engineer squad from RunToTheSun is going to be capping on the left side, capping around the HMG Gren sort of front set up here by Symbiosis. Conscript squad just retreating back from the HMG. From the Grens. The HMG was the thing that retreated earlier. We're seeing tier 1 teched up from Symbiosis. He's going to get on that. He's floating only about 46 fuel, whereas it's pretty standard to see Russians with a bit more fuel than they have to spend it on, but that's because their tier buildings are so expensive. He did get the medics back at base, RunToTheSun. We got a flank from the engineers, but they don't have a flamethrower. I think they'll still chase off these engineers since the HMG was made a little weaker to deal with like other units, basically.
Our headquarters has been improved.
They were difficult to deal with in the first start. Oh my fucking god, I need to just set myself to offline here. I'm really sorry about that. I've usually been pretty good about it in previous casts about just setting my status to offline. But in this case I forgot to. I'll explain it to that person later.
Enemy forces are securing
so basically we're seeing kind of the standard meta, Russians versus Germans. Russians kind of blob up and push them off the other side, and the Germans basically go onto the other side, the left side. So it's kind of like, you know, pinning down a airfield balloon, if you will. You can pin it to the ground, but it's just going to squeeze out from under you and go somewhere else. This is pretty standard early game, if I do say so. But so what you find is that the Russians, pretty much their meta against the us here is kind of playing this balancing act. If they commit too hard to one side, they lose the other. But if they don't commit hard enough, they lose both. So it is basically a balancing act for the Russians this early game. Mortar coming out from RunToTheSun. He has a minesweeper on the second engineer squad. He's not going to find any more mines here that Symbi laid out, but he is going to find the teller. The teller mine is ridiculously important for Germans since the Russians are capable of getting a armor out so early. Good flank on the HMG. It's going to force it off from the conscript squad. Going to try to take out the teller mine, but unfortunately they don't get close enough. They fall under a hail of HMG fire instead. Alright, HMG opening up on these conscript squads to the right, but it leaves them vulnerable to a flank, and the mortar raining death.
The enemy is taking our territory.
They are gaining vet. This only gives them the medical first aid, field first aid kit, so that ain't much. But, you know, as they gain more vet, they gain like all these damage bonuses and turn really disgusting, so they've got that going for them. And obviously we're seeing the balloon effect where if the Russians go right, the Germans just go left. I suppose it's more of a Kansas City shuffle. Everyone looks left, so you go right, kind of thing. Russians are sadly sort of losing. They've actually, never mind, I take that back. They're even. Oh, okay, so the munitions advantage went to the us here there for a second, but the fuel advantage is basically... Holy shit! This is why you don't do homework like late. It's worth pointing out that it's 7:30 p.m. and I've been working all day, so I'm really sorry for yawning. I swear to God, I'm trying not to be boring. And also talking a lot. Like usually, like you want to do some voice warm-ups or something, get your voice primed for talking for long periods of time, and I didn't necessarily do that. I mean, for some reason, when I do that, whether it's like singing or whatever, or like doing casts, like I just start yawning. It's not because I'm tired, I'm just like, my vocal cords weren't really ready to be talking for this much. And you know, water really helps with dealing with that. In fact, I left my Nalgene just out of reach. I'm gonna need to grab that. Meanwhile, he did not build the tier 2 structure, but he has... Symbiosis has teched up to Battle Phase 2. Taking a model off is the Flamethrower Squad. These Flamethrowers really don't get suppressed or pinned very easily by the HMG from max range. And I guess that's a good thing to keep track of as a Russian player. This isn't COH1 where American Flamethrowers actually have a suppression modifier. They actually take more suppression from HMGs, and they have a tendency to get suppressed and pinned very easily. Rather, in COH2, they don't get suppressed as easily. Just to relate that for those of you who have played COH1 and were curious about that, but I understand that's probably very few of you. Whatever, who am I to assume so much about the people listening to this cast? So, like, we haven't seen a whole lot of huge teching. Here's a Tankovsky battalion. Fuck, I'm just butchering these Russian names tonight, I swear to God. I'm gonna get deported from Russia at this rate. Tier 3, this includes T-34s and T-70s. God, I really want my Nalgene water ball. I'm just gonna reach over and get it. Oh, fuck, it fell over. Shit! Alright, I got it. HMG gains Vet 1, that gives them the incendiary armor piercing rounds. It makes them good against light vehicles and infantry. It actually murders infantry too. They gain quite a bit of damage. And I want to also note that it's really important these MG42 LMGs really increase the damage output of these grenadier squads, especially once they start getting vet. T-70 is going to chase up the HMG, trying to flank on the left side, and the Power Squad. The Power Squad, I think, retreated a little earlier. It's going to be difficult for Symbiosis to deal with the T-70 and eventual T-34s without Teller Mines or like any tank. You'll notice he went straight for like tier 3 here. That gives him the Stug, Ostwind, and the Panzer IV medium tank, but no pack, which is like I consider one of the more important units you want as Ost here to deal with armor. Excluding Teller Mines. Teller Mines are also really important, and well, Symbi has none of those, so frankly, it's looking really good for RunToTheSun here. He's got T-70 trace off infantry, but he has to know. You can kind of tell he knows Symbi has skipped tier 2 because he hasn't seen any P-Grens. He hasn't seen any of those standard tier 2 units. If he does any scouting at all, he's going to see this T3 right away. There goes the HMG picked off by the T-70. T-70 doing its job as a good like anti-infantry preventative capping. It's gonna go for these piles next. You just know it just doesn't want anything capping. No capping allowed. It's a bit like the fast AC, except without the fast part. It's more like just the same purpose as the AC in COH1, where it mostly just keeps units from ninja capping points and solidifying whatever ground it already has. This is like that more important inherent map control that like the light vehicles offer. And by inherent map control, I kind of mean like it's going to prevent Symbiosis from capping any more of the map, any new map. It's going to be very difficult for him as long as this unit's available. Just as the AC is in COH1. If that metaphor sort of helps you understand what this T-70's role is going to be going forward. This mortar's doing a ton of damage, but that suppression... Oh, fuck! Big grenades. Rifle grenade, plus the HMG is going to kill this conscript squad on retreat. I always like to call those grenades like the latency grenades. Like if you have really bad latency, your your response to like these grenades, like you want to like slam that retreat key, your response isn't going to be very fast. Like if your connection's not very good, you're probably going to lose the whole squad. Well, let's be honest. I don't mean that as like it's on Relic or like anyone's connection or whatever, but like let's face it, like if you're not microing very well or paying attention, you're going to get punished pretty hard in this game, or even COH1 for that matter. More so in this game, I think, since like it's about like these grenades are supposed to go off and like it's T-70 doing its job, takes out a Grunt squad. This is looking still about even, but I would call it in favor of RunToTheSun. Sorry, RunToTheSun right now, just because Russians are kind of an early game faction, and Symbi definitely intends on taking this late game. And let's be honest, this Tiger's really strong late game. But, you know, I mentioned it before, you could tell RunToTheSun kind of suspects something fishy is going on because he, again, hasn't seen those tier 2 units. Alright, so actually I believe that's the tier 2 building that Symbi is building right now, the Lichte Mechanized Company. Do these both use, like, Campagna, Company? It's kind of like how, like, Russians have, like, a Tsar. I was doing like word origins the other day, and like Russians have the word for like a king. It's like Tsar. Like they had Tsars, C-Z-A-R, and like in World War I, Germans had like Kaiser, like K-A-I-S-E-R, Kaiser. The root of both of those words is actually Caesar, which inherently means king. I thought that was kind of interesting, and you know you can actually trace this to a number of other cultures. They all had similar sort of words, and the basis of the word is all the Latin Caesar. I believe it's Latin. Someone else can correct me. Like, I love that I could do these casts and like I'm wrong on so many counts, and then like people always come back like, Foxy, you fucking idiot, it actually means this. I'm like, are you retarded? Yeah, I don't mind when people correct me. In fact, I really appreciate it if you guys could like call me out on this shit. The smoke, again, comes out just a tad too late for that 18 nade, but it's actually at least going to protect it from the AT gun. T-70, this is some more flexibility. It takes a Panzerfaust, so it has some engine damage, but unlike this Panzer IV, it has self-repair and some engineers tight nearby. Currently, Symbiosis has the fuel advantage. He's got plus 26 fuel income, and he's also rocking a munitions income as well. This is partially due to controlling kind of both sides of the map here, but RunToTheSun is retaking his munitions. Overall, it's good to see Symbiosis really taking advantage of this, you know, Kansas City shuffle that's going on, where if RunToTheSun is looking one way, Symbi's invariably on the other. This T-70 is back to full health, no engine damage, but Symbiosis Panzer IV is still kind of out of commission as far as engine damage goes. It's probably going to take another 18-8 here. That'll hit the rear armor. No, they're not going to go for it. They're going to retreat immediately. And there are the Panzer Grenadiers, actually. This conscript squad could go down. It generally gains a lot of durability at bet 3. It becomes really hard to kill, like this squad here. They're going to probably just destroy this AT gun. Yeah, absolutely. The Panzer IV is taking shots on the AT gun. It's actually pretty standard to see German players do this. And this is kind of why I generally recommend that if you're going to go AT guns as Russians, you generally want 2 of them, because they kind of cover each other. Because it's important to note that as they have really good damage against tanks, but as a general rule, the armor of the Germans will like circle strafe it or shoot it, and it'll actually go down pretty easily to armor. Like 1v1 armor wins, but like if there's some engine damage, or like some range they have on and vision they have on the tank, the Russians will win every time. So Russians generally rely on a lot of combined arms, and we have actually seen RunToTheSun using that combined arms. I just think in this case the AT gun was kind of out of position, couldn't get away in time. T-70 doing its role as the AC, taking out some side capping, split pushing, if you will, pioneers. Mortar fire, but oh, it's gonna run right into a mine just as soon as its engine damage wore off.
We are losing a sector.
For some reason, oh wow, how'd this go down? Oh wow, the pack must have taken a shot on it. I think it was an attack round through the bush. Had to have been. That, like, I can't see how the pack could have taken that out unless it was like on the other side of this bush and just attack rounded that T-70 outside of its vision. That's a fucking play right there, boys. We need to review that one. We need to go to the booth for that one, I think. I need to review it. Anyway, engagement's in the middle. RunToTheSun still wants this Panzer IV. It's retreating, so it can get rid of that engine damage. Symbiosis, though, what the fuck, dude? If that's what happened there, that's a fucking great play. The short flank from the engineers. They crawl the fence just in time. They're going to take some shots on the HMG. Nothing happens. Yeah, like that had to have been what happened. Like, Symbi, like, just so you all know, just so we're aware of what happened there. So, like, you generally can't order an attack from a pack through the bush on, like, this T-70. Like, this bush is in the way, right? So, but what you can do is order an attack round, and it'll actually go through the bush. Like, you get attack round, like, right there, and it will collide with models, such as the T-70. It's just the way the hit calculation works in COH2. This mortar's been doing work pretty much all game. It hasn't really been threatened. And at Vet 3, it just really gets disgusting. That max range boost is a big deal. I think at Vet 2, yeah, shell accuracy and rate of fire. This is just fantastic. I think the real money is in this precision strike ability. That's what it allows them to, like, clear crews and shit. Alright, so Panzer IV baiting these conscripts. He's really got a good sense for, like, how far away he's supposed to stand from these. And honestly, RunToTheSun had a great flanking opportunity here to push him off. And I guess Symbi just reacted just right on time. I imagine Symbi's waiting for the Tiger now. It's going to be 230 fuel. He's at 175. He's had good map control, so he can literally just kind of sit on things. He's just got to keep an eye on the VPs, and he has been doing a good job of that so far. He's about 180 behind on VPs. That's obviously RunToTheSun's advantage. But his time's running out. He's going to need to take out these Germans before he really gets eliminated. RunToTheSun, now he's chosen this doctrine with Guards Rifle and the 120mm mortar squad. He's probably not going to be calling any of those in. He doesn't really need them. But Guards Rifle usefulness is just fantastic. Looks like late game he's going to have the T-3485 medium tanks to call in if he so desires. RunToTheSun. This is actually a really good commander. And it will allow him to deal with Tigers and armor and etc. with like the RAM and like rear armor combo. They're really strong tanks. It's important to note that T-3485s are very powerful, strong guns. We haven't really seen RunToTheSun use the artillery strike yet. I think we're going to see him use it here. It's in a good spot to fire on the HMG impact, but I think... Whoa. Aggressive plays here. There's the T-3485 combat group. They're moving on this Panzer IV. He's got the AT gun in position. He's going to pop some defensive smoke to try to scout these T-3485s, but he doesn't really have a lot of anti-armor to deal with this push right now. RunToTheSun making those timing pushes that I talked about earlier. Very strong, able to catch him kind of off guard. But I think this Panzer IV is going to go out while the T-3485 takes out the other AT gun. Looks like Symbi can call in the Tiger tank right now. There it is. And looks like the pack's going to get decrewed from the T-3485. RunToTheSun needs to get out of here right now. He probably hears this Tiger. At least I would hope he hears it. And he is pulling out right away. It looks like they're going to get a Panzerfaust off. They see it. That's gonna... Oh, it collided into a bush. Holy shit, that's unfortunate. So, overall, RunToTheSun took a lot of damage on the T-3485, but he does manage to get it out. Symbi is aware of where that T-3485 is since it passed through this point. But here's what I was talking about before, how a single AT gun really can't deal with any armor whatsoever. Like, on its own, there's nothing for it to do. T-3485 gonna chase these Panzerschrecked Peagrins. I think this Tiger should be able to take it out. Yeah, it's just missing. There is a stolen pack on the field now, taking a shot at the Tiger. So the Tiger's going to have to retreat from here because, yeah, there's really nothing you can do against either of those units. Except maybe the T-3485 at max range, but besides that, not really much of anything.
UKW has released a Tiger for our use.
So, alright, so overall it's looking really good for RunToTheSun. He's got 2 T-3485, strong tanks, he's got an AT gun, but he lost his big AT gun, and it looks like they're just going to trade AT here. The ZIS, in general, is a better anti-tank option. The pack's got the kind of reload, so it has quantity over quality, whereas this is definitely a quality over quantity AT gun. HMG is going to be locking map down. It's important to note while all that was going on. In fact, this is just like that Symbiosis, like, micromanaged it, I suppose. Like, he managed to take the entire map while RunToTheSun was, like, trying to pin him down with the T-3045s. It's just kind of shocking, like, because I really had no awareness that was even going on. Like, Symbi just took the entire map, basically. Even though he basically lost the engagement. So he's making these trades. And I would argue they're really working out for him. He controls the entire map. And these HMGs have really helped him lock it down. I would be worried about these T-3485s, but I guess, you know, Tiger tank, you know. What's the worst that could happen? I'm going to take a swig here while they're gearing up for another T-3485 push, at least inching forward. Yep, there's a good shot on some Panzerschrecked Peagrins, but they're taking a ton of damage and they're going to retreat right away. Tiger takes a shot on these conscripts. Vet 3 means they have pretty high durability. They're going to be hard to eliminate. It's going to be there. Yeah, they also have mobility going for them. But unfortunately, mobility doesn't really help them against HMGs once they're suppressed and pinned. Pack takes a shot. It's going to penetrate, but it's not going to do a whole lot of damage. T-3045, not much it can do past that. And we're seeing some side capping from conscripts, but they can't really go toe-to-toe with these Grenadiers. Grenadiers probably going to be able to push them off fairly easily. Symbi definitely in control this late game. Even though he lost more units, it's like important to note that that doesn't really fucking matter because he's got that inherent map control thing going on where he can prevent further capping by his side. And I think that his generally more powerful infantry are going to enable that. If he could start capping with these 230-45s, maybe that'd be a different story, but it's hard to say. Alright, there's a Tiger tank in the middle. Oh, could have been caught out there. But there weren't conscripts close enough to do any amount of pushing off. It's kind of interesting to see them, like, arrange their counters in such a way and being aware of the things that counter their own units. So they kind of shift, they test the fronts, they pull out, but this kind of poking and prodding really works to Symbi's advantage. Currently, it's just kind of interesting to see that sort of happen. Like, he sees the tanks prod left, so he brings his Panzerschrecks left. He sees the tanks go right. Is he arranging anything over here yet? We haven't seen anything like that. The AT guns face in the general direction of these T-30-45s, but they're repairing right now, and I don't think Symbi's aware of that. Panzerschrecks, Panzer Grenadiers, pushing up. They're also prodding. Meanwhile, somehow these guys were able to... Oh, no, it's just a power squad, so yeah, they were easily able to push back a power squad. This is something I discovered recently. Apparently when these are in like this crew repair like this, they're actually completely vulnerable. They take further damage. They like won't do anything else. Alright. RunToTheSun wakes up, starts going for a push here. Trying to make some plays here. Do some damage on the Tiger. They do penetrating on both shots. It's important to note that these guys really do have a strong cannon. They're fantastic units. Absolutely better in every single way than the T-34. Even like mobility-wise, they're about... Whoa! Holy shit! takes it down to practically nothing. This T-3485 is going to push in. We're seeing some attack ground from the Zis. Zis is vet through. The T-3485 is managing 2 penetrating shots on the Tiger through the smoke. Probably had to attack ground for those kills. And it's just absolutely stunning play from RunToTheSun. His push could not have been better timed there. Definitely had to attack ground through that smoke to take out the Tiger. Just as like the smoke hat or this bush earlier, like if you can't actually fire on it, like you won't be able to through the smoke, so you have to do the attack ground thing. Incredibly, well, T-3485 survived that push with nothing but just engine damage. Like there weren't any teller mines, nothing. He's going to go ahead and repair these up. He really needs to start gaining some map control though. Maybe rebuilding that T-70 would have been a good thought, but it's hard to say. He might have been scrapped for resources. Well, he's not certainly scrapped for resources now. He's rocking 600 manpower and 120 fuel, so maybe not. And it looks like the Ziz is going to get decrewed from just like some conscripts. And a mortar, I imagine. I imagine the mortar helped a bit. So yeah, this is... Oh, wow. They have a flamethrower and an HMG. That's a lot of damage. Oh, mortar lands right on their heads, though. That vetted mortar is going to be doing work. Wait, no, that's not the same vetted mortar. The actual vetted mortar died earlier. It's just kind of incredible that both of these survived, but it's going to be a while before they're back in the action, so they might as well be dead. But the only thing that, like, I suppose RunToTheSun saved was some resources. Oh! Holy shit, that mortar squad takes a ton of damage, but, oh, man. So, like, once peak runs hit Vet 3, we'll wait until they're back at base. I'll go and talk over about their pet benefits. They're huge. Like, they turn into basically monsters. Like, they're useless, and then they get Vet 3, and then they're, like, suddenly the most useful units you could have against, like, tanks, infantry, what have you. Weapon accuracy. That's huge for Panzer Shreks. Like, holy shit, the Panzer Shreks will never miss. So, like, that makes them totally deadly. And they'll also, like, they have a tendency to snipe with the Panzer Shreks themselves, too. So, they're a force to be reckoned with. Here's another Tiger tank from Symbiosis. This is probably going to help him get back in the game. And it looks like RunToTheSun is ready for that. He's got both of his T-3485s. Vet 2, they gained main gun targeting improvement. They just are more likely to hit things. Not a penetrating shot, no such luck this time around. Tiger's going to take a shot though, same bad luck. Nothing is going to do any damage. There's a pack shot though, it's going to take a shot and hit. It is low on health though, the HMG dishing out a lot of damage versus the pack, and this mortar not afraid as well. So let's look at these vet benefits. Counter barrage, I guess that's pretty good. It's not the most useful ability, you rarely see it. Increased shell accuracy, rate of fire, and max range improvement at vet 3. This is recrewed by Symbiosis. He's still got such amazing map control, and that has to be frustrating. You just know that, like, he's losing VPs here, even though he's winning battles really well. It's pretty clear that Symbiosis is winning the map control battle. We are seeing some impressive plays on both sides, though. I have to really applaud both of these players. They're playing at a very high level of Russians, Germans that we haven't seen I haven't seen in a while, at the very least. Playing Panzer Shreks, they're at Vet 3, so they're going to hit no matter what. In fact, they'll even take a rear armor hit for free. Why the fuck not, right? Alright, and yeah, chasing some squads. In fact, I forgot that RunToTheSun mentioned this to me. That actually Germans, OKW, us here, it doesn't matter. They have a pretty general map advantage here. It's real easy as a allied player to actually get pinned in your base up here. And we've seen it time and time again with like every single cast I've done so far, like up to this point. It's only been 3, so you haven't really missed much if you're just joining us for this cast. I haven't done much casting yet. But in general, every single time on this map, the Germans have a pretty strong advantage versus their allied counterparts, essentially. They can secure a lot of map very easily. This side capping goes on, and they just have the easiest time gaining map control. Looks like we have 2 mortars. Now we have the 120mm mortar. This thing's a monster. It will destroy tanks, it'll destroy basically anything you want, and it can retreat at a single man crew.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
Oh man, he's gotta cap some map. He's fearlessly pushing forward. I think this 120mm will help it RunToTheSun take these VPs back and gain that map control he's been basically desperate for, that these HMGs have been denying him of that up until this point. Grens obviously do a ton of damage to conscripts. Conscripts can't really go toe-to-toe like this. A Panzerschreck dropped. Holy shit. I assume he didn't lose those. Oh my god, he did. He totally lost those P-Grens when he pushed up on this left-hand side. That's actually pretty incredible, and I'm sorry I missed that. Obviously, he doesn't want RunToTheSun. Zimby doesn't want RunToTheSun taking these kinds of tracks, so he's going to push him off. Alright, so I also want to point out Vet 3 Guards Rifle turned really, really nasty. Oh, man, but yeah. No matter how nasty they get, they can't really deal with... Oh, they pick up one Panzer right there. Yeah. I was so sad I missed this P-Gren kill. I can't imagine what happened. Looks like some mortar shenanigans or a mine shenanigans. It's hard to say. Either way, one more thing we have to go to the booth for. You would think an experienced caster such as myself would catch these things, but unfortunately that's just not the case. I'm still learning like everyone else. It's disappointing when I see I miss things. I really need to start taking note of like what happened, like, you know. But hey, whatever. We're here. We've got this Tiger. These Pioneers are going to cook these conscript squads to death. They're dying. They're going to cap the middle VP again. Looks like VPs are back in Symbiosis' hands. Yeah, they're about there. T-3045, these Grens are definitely out of position. They can't really deal with the T-3045. It's just shooting at the ground to mark its territory, I guess. Whoa! Big shot on Pioneer Squad, though. Some mortar combat going on here. A lot of indirect fire. Yeah, by the way, those Guards Rifle grenades. A lot of damage. Same with shock troops. Almost hits the Panzerschreck Pioneers. Tiger pushing him out to 3485 meanwhile. Pack seems to always penetrate this Tiger. It's having no problem. It's high reload and it always penetrates it is. Doing really well. Pack's been more useful than the Zis has for Symbiosis. Hard to say which is the better AT. I think the Zis gets better with Vet, but I think in general the Pack is just fantastic. Wow, rate of fire increase at Vet 3 and target penetration. Wow, that is absolutely fantastic. Alright, capping with the T-3045, that's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what RunToTheSun needs to be doing right now. This 120mm appears to be doing a lot of work against this mortar. This great counter mortar. It's got only 3 kills right now. Looks like... Where is it firing? Yeah, it's firing on the other mortar. It's just, man, this map control is just mean from Zimby. Zimby, like, is generally had the VP lead since the start. Finally seeing some of the fragmentation bombs. That's gonna wipe out a ton of units. Holy shit, wipes out like 5 models on that conscript squad and 4 on the mortar. Along with heavy damage and a cruise shock on the T-3485. Tiger's gonna be pushing up. It looks like this conscript squad, but the Pack is here. 2 Tigers out from Zimby. 2 shots on the T-3045, not gonna be able to take any of them out. But there's the AT grenade. It's gonna drop. Oh, it's got the vehicle sighting. Let's go over and switch over. I forgot what this ability is called. RunToTheSun is using the mark vehicle. Yeah, so this reduces damage. It's like received penetration. It's gonna take more damage in general. And that's exactly what's happening. Through the smoke, we're seeing an attack round. Yeah, mortar. Dropping on the Zis. Zimby absolutely wants to keep this Tiger because, like, it's gonna help him, you know, push on 2 T-3045s. I think in general 2 T-34s will beat a Tiger if you play well. Oh, and looks like these Guards Rifle are at Vet 3 now, so now they're going to be useful. Oh no, don't lose the Pack. Run to the sun. Oh no. Okay, it'll live. Meanwhile, 230-45 is going to be pushing squads off. It should have no problem. Absolutely, Run to the Sun needs to get some map control back in his hands. Looks like, I suppose I can't stress this enough, like, one of the keys to this game has been this attack round they've been doing to each other. They attack rounding through smoke, they're attack rounding through bushes, they're landing their shots. This is kind of what high-level COH 2 play is all about, I guess. If I can be a little circle jerky, make a big circle jerk comment right now, it would be that using attack round is high-skill gameplay. So do that. Oh, wow. 230-485 takes a big shot in the grunt squad, but these grunts take a bigger shot on the conscript squad, and the conscript squad goes down. Repair crews getting their repair on, trying to get this Tiger back in business. 234-85's therefore having the run of the place since the Zis is actually decrewed. He might even want to consider just destroying that Zis because, well, it's not helping him and he's probably not going to get it back. Symbiosis is probably going to hold on to it. There we go, though. Run of the Sun is taking back the VPs. Seeing some map control finally go Run of the Sun's way here. He doesn't have the resources, the resource points, I suppose, if that helps you, if that makes sense. But he's slowly getting that back. There's the grenade. Almost going to wipe the HMG crew. HMG crew is going to retreat. Whew. Oh, wow. Increased reload on, well, reduced reload? I don't know how to say this. They'll shoot faster at vet 3. And these don't look like easy units to vet up. 17 kills, and they're only at vet 2. Usually you see them hit that 3 right away. Especially considering the amount of damage they've taken thus far. They've lasted since they've arrived, since he's called them in, basically. He hasn't had to call in a replacement 245 squad, or tank squad off map. I don't know. Whatever. Another fragmentation bomb drop, aiming to take out the 120mm. It's not going to be able to do so. Mortars everywhere, a lot of indirect fire. It's basically coming down to RNG at this point. I think Run to the Sun's mortars have the advantage here.
The enemy is down to 100 points.
Take some shots, but there's not a whole lot I can do. A lot of prodding, a lot of checking. Looks like the Tiger's going more for controlling these side VPs, so that Symbi can kind of continue to control the VPs and, you know, in the long run actually win. But I think, in general, yeah, no, the spread is only about 50 VPs now. But it's actually still Run to the Sun's advantage. 230-45 doing a fair amount of damage to the Tiger. Tiger has to back off. It's down in that critical zone below 50%, so it's going to pull back. Doesn't look like it has pioneers around here. Looks like they're all up here. All of the pioneers, as a matter of fact, they're all up here. Dropping some mines are going to lay those delicious, delicious S mines. Those things were nightmares. Did you know that, like, they popped up out of the ground and just did a lot of damage? It was just like a flechette. It was just fucking crazy. Maybe I'm thinking of different mines. Whatever. S mines are great. War is a cruel thing. I just want to say that. Like, I have never seen more creative ways to kill people than when nations are at war, essentially. Flamethrower finally explodes on the grunt squad. Flamethrower is no longer going to help them win all the battles and win the games. This Tiger is not anywhere near any amount of repair. We'll see if that hurts him in the long run. 230-485 going to fiercely take some shots with these side capping grens, split pushing, if you will. Split pushing grens. Symbi is just so hard to keep down. Symbi, like, is taking points left and right. This has to be frustrating to deal with. I can't imagine being able to keep him off points very easily. Like, maybe if he built some Maxims, I don't know. Maybe some Maxims. More T-30-45s? Hard to say. He's got more than enough fuel right now, but he's not really got the manpower income. He's limited. Oh, there's some action. Looks like mortars everywhere. Tiger going to take a shot on T-3045. T-3045 going to respond in kind, but not nearly as effectively. There's a second Zis out now. For a run to the sun, he's going to use that to deal with Tigers. S-Mines is going to do some damage to these poor. Attempting to split cap. Conscript squad, they're just going to retreat. Oh, horrible. T-3040 hits 85, hits Vet 3. It's going to get some repairs. Mortars just whistling around all over the place. Why is he so fast? Oh no! Drop that 18-8, conscripts. This is your only chance. Never mind. You're dying now. Incredible. So there's like this 3 separate battles going on here at the same time, and it's worth pointing out. We're seeing this armor battle where they're trying to like feel each other out and find weak points. There's this mortar battle trying to take out like emplacements like established by their side, and then lastly there's this infantry battle where they're trying to cap, and it looks like Symbi's doing a better job. I think they're trying to throw a grenade, but they're not doing a very good job. Yeah, like not to mention this like upkeep stuff, like keeping these T-3045s at full health. It's just totally insane. And in general, Symbiosis is like winning, really. He's got it. Tiger getting repaired. Should be back up to full health in no time. Symbiosis now approaching the critical point. He's at 90 victory points, and it looks like the VPs are tied up. More flechette rounds coming in, dropping on the mortar squad and the Maxim squad. Not going to do not nearly as effective as previous flechette drops, but he is going to manage to take out the Zis with the Tiger tank, because that's how counters work in CH2. Looks like Run to the Sun is finally able to push Symbi off the left-hand side. Meanwhile, Mark Tank, T-3045, fearlessly taking shots and a pack. Yeah, nailed it. Tiger going to put a shot with these minesweepers. But Run of the Sun finally able to secure the VP advantage. Maybe. Would be nice. Actually, I'm sorry. He's secured that VP on the right side, so he's got VP advantage right now. And he's about to score 3 for like a split second before he gets pushed off here. 120mm dropping on the HMG squad. Pack taking shots on the Tiger. Yeah, that's going to do a good bit of damage. Still marked target on this tank, but he's pretty safe behind his own lines. Finally, there's that. There we see Symbi actually matching VPs. But it appears Run of the Sun is slowly, gradually losing. Oh, 120mm wipes the Grunt squad. How about them apples? Oh, man. This indirect fire. Like, every part of this battle has been effective. These armor have been great. These mortars have been fantastic on both sides. This AT play has been just about incredible. We saw Symbiosis with the attack round through the bush earlier. And now Run to the Sun rocking that same pack. Really speaks to the usefulness of the pack, I think, over the Zis. Man, it's just been some back and forth shit. Like, maybe a T-70. I literally, at this level, I cannot give effective advice on to either of these players because, well, frankly, they know better, and like they've been playing the best they possibly could, and it's better than what I could do. So I don't really. You have to. That's my disclaimer for what I'm about to say. where like maybe a T-70 would have been useful to run to the sun at this point. Would have helped him secure that map control again. But I can only imagine that the Tiger would just push it right back.
The enemy is taking what we have secured.
I can only imagine. I literally cannot say more about the subject. I guess mines. I always say mines. Ever since Symbiosis lost his Minesweeper. Just incredible. Like, both players are fearlessly like pushing forward. Like, where's this squad going? T-3045 is pushing out from mid. Now going for this pack with the big rear armor hit. Oh man. Run to the sun. Please be careful with your T-3045.
We have only 50 points remaining.
And it's just gonna get out of there, man. You could really see fatigue wearing off on these players. I think Run to the Sun imagined that Tiger moving over, but yeah, there it is. It moves over now. It's a bit of a delayed reaction. It's really coming down to the wire now as Run to the Sun drops to 40 victory points. Symbiosis now at 81 still. He hasn't lost too many. Pack. Big shots on the Tiger. This Tiger can go down. It will go down. There's the flechette rounds. Tiger goes down to the pack. Here comes the flechette. Takes out the pack, the Vet 3 pack. He trades it for that Tiger. Hard to say whether it's worth it, but Symbiosis still has the second Tiger to use. Only one Tiger now. Still, these T-3045s have been useful throughout the entire game. The fight for this middle VP is raging right on. Zisk is gonna have to turn to take out this Tiger. Tiger obviously counters this. Rock beats paper again, as it were. This Gren squad going down. There's a second Ziz able to do some fire on this Tiger, but it does not. Marked vehicle now going out on this Tiger tank. Able to micro prevent his rear arm from taking too much damage, but it might be too late. The T-3045, the second T-3045 is right there. Able to deal the damage, and they'll be able to take this Tiger out. Panzer Strike from the Pioneer Squad might actually take out the T-3045. Run to the Sun has to cap these VPs. He's losing right now. The HMG is going to be able to suppress this conscript squad potentially. Meanwhile, Symbiosis, VPs, 2 Tigers down. He might be able to take this still. It's really anyone's game. I think this could be Run to the Sun's game if it continues any longer. Symbiosis is going to have to throw in the towel as he has no more Tigers to deal with this. Call in more guards troops from the Russian side. Run to the Sun desperately getting some infantry on the board to cap the map. Now, Symbiosis down to 1 Gren squad, 2 Pioneer squads, 2 HMGs, a mortar, and a pack. And 77 VPs to his name, to Run to the Sun's 34. With the VP lead, VP slowly ticking down. While Run to the Sun has these 2 T-3045s. He's going to quickly try to get these repaired so he can get some map going again. Run to the Sun, retaking that right VP. Symbiosis doing his Kansas City shuffle and retaking the middle VP. There's no holding this guy back. He literally just cannot stop retaking victory points. He'll even take this fuel for free. Just like, fuck you. This is my fuel now. I want it. I need it for absolutely no reason at all other than just to have map control. Pack. Scaring off the T-3045. This pack now at Vet 3, and we've been seeing the effectiveness of Vet 3 packs this entire game. There's the Pioneer Squad with the Panzer Strike. They're at Vet 3 now. Vet 3 gives them expertise at repairing units. T-3045 is going to be able to come in to support them. Panzer Strike takes a shot. VP lead. Still in Symbiosis' hands. There's a split little tiny battle going on over here. they like are fighting for these VPs. Symbiosis still controlling the VPs. He's got 2. There's a smoke barrage now from the mortar, something you don't see every day. So just so these conscripts can retake a fucking victory point. A retreat from the HMG. Oh my god. He just can't catch a fucking break. VP lead firmly in Symbiosis' hands unless Run to the Sun can take this middle VP. He should be able to if there was enough time. Mortars going down on this squad on the point. He's able to take the middle victory point. This neutralized victory point on the right side. Really coming down to the wire. These T-3485s push a little farther than they really should. Take out the pack. These Panzerschreck pilots are probably going to take out this T-3485 if they get another rear armor hit. Goes to another squad. There's a reload. And I'm sorry, there are 2 Panzerschrecks available to both of these pioneers. Meanwhile, finally takes out a T-3045. Symbiosis capping with the Grunt Squad while all we have from Run to the Sun is another Zis. And I think this is going to be Symbiosis' victory point. There's not much this Zis can do about the capping Grenadiers. HMG pushing back the Guard's rifle. Still down to the wire, everybody. Just more effective capping coming out. Yeah, these Grens easily able to take out the Zis. And there's the VP advantage. HMG on the left, Grunt Squad on the right. 1 T-3045 down and a Tiger up. Truly what has won Symbiosis this game has absolutely been that absolutely crippling map control he's run this entire game. There's very little to say about Symbiosis' capping other than that it is absolutely impeccable and just very, very well managed, and it won him this game. Oh, man, this is a hard loss to take, but at the same time, you have to respect Run to the Sun's brilliant, absolutely brilliant pushes in with T-3045's marked vehicle, attack round. He used absolutely every tool at his disposal. I like literally can't imagine there's much more he could have done except preventing like this side capping with like a T-70 or a Maxim or anything. Mines. Hard to say if that could have possibly won him this game at the critical moments when he was making big pushes. What a game. What a game. What a game. I really enjoyed casting this for all of you all today. I really would like for you to give those thumbs up on those YouTubes, as they always say that they help YouTube and all this crap or whatever. And also make sure to check me out on Twitch. I am a streamer. You can see me struggle as probably the worst factions in the game. I stream on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Fridays and Sundays I stream COH1, and Saturdays, the critical day, I stream COH2. I only stream one day of COH2. Also follow me on Twitter, that'll be below, and I don't know, just hope you enjoyed this one, guys. Play hard, don't ever give up. Play like Symbiosis, because that'll obviously win you the game. See ya.